Good evening. How are y'all? Good, 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 good. We have about 5 more minutes before 7 o'clock before we can start. It's 6:30. Did we say 6:30 or 7? I was like, man, they own it tonight. Okay, so we ready to roll? Lord have mercy. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, seven tomorrow. I'm sorry, thank y'all for thank y'all for being there. We've been singing and we've been praying. Somebody should have been texting me, Pally, where you at? So I'm really excited about this week of learning Bible study this week. I know that God is going to do some really amazing things through this week, and I'm looking forward to just being a witness and being a part of everything that God has promised that He would do for us. Our theme for the year is winning within, and we're focusing on the scripture Proverbs. It says, "Above all else, guard your heart. Everything that you do flows from that." And like we've been talking about, like we've been discussing with everything else, like if the inside is not straight, if the inside is not together, then everything else is gonna fall apart. So this week for our Bible study, tonight we're gonna have our ladies, and then tomorrow night we'll have the men. And I want to see us experience the contrast of what it's like from hearing from different people about how I process my emotions, how I deal with things, and still deal with real life. Like it's a real thing. It's a real place. So I'm gonna borrow. I'm gonna have to borrow somebody. One of our panelists told me that they weren't gonna be able to make it tonight. But before I just told you, any ladies? Sorry, Pastor. Any ladies want to volunteer to be on the panel tonight? Okay, Sister Davis said I got Bobby told us. So come on, Sister Davis. Sister Davis is gonna help us. And then we have two other panels. We all come. We all come back and join us. Sister Davis will offer a great contrast. Just like you come to? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna let our panelists introduce themselves. I've known all of them for a little while now, so I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and share something about themselves, and then we'll get started with my questions.
Thank you. Let me go first. Thank you. Do I need to use it? Can you all hear me? Okay, my name's Megan Ibarra. I have taught for 16 years now. I serve at Faith Family Church. I am our prayer coach, and I have a beautiful family. I should have brought them, but I feel a little guilty. We have a 16-year-old son named Patrick and a 6-year-old daughter named Penelope. My name,
Yeah, you next.
my name is Sophie Evans, and I've lived here. Been here for a long time. And I love my church because people would come and go and come back. But we do a lot of things here, and I've already been involved in quite a few of them, and that makes my life really good.
Hello, I am Ashley Cephas. Some of you may know me by my maiden name, which is Henderson. I am the eldest granddaughter of Johnny and Debbie Henderson, and the eldest daughter of Dale and Bambi Henderson. I am an educator. I teach first grade in Conroe ISD, where I live in Spring with my husband and 2 children. Paisley is 6 and Paxton is almost 17 months. I am, like I said, an educator. I'm also a preacher's daughter and a pastor's wife. So I wear all the hats and do all the things. So, yeah.
So since David, where you sitting, between people with little kids, I don't know what the Lord's trying to work through you. Okay, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started. I love this because Sister Davis didn't have the opportunity to ask me the questions that the other 2 panelists had. He said, "Are we gonna have questions?" They said questions. I was like, "No, we're going off the cuff." So tonight is geared to understanding and dealing with our emotions from the perspective of a woman, and we have 3 women on our panel from different backgrounds, different walks of life, different stages in life. So we'll get a dichotomy of different answers from various different perspectives, and I'm looking forward to that. In addition to myself, there are 3 other males in here, so we're gonna start the questions off with a very, it's probably not. We're gonna start the questions off with a very tough question, because tonight is about inside job, dealing with our emotions, regulating our emotions while dealing with all the stuff. So, and then y'all can decide who's gonna answer the question first. But what is it about women that causes them to be overly emotional in every? No, that is not the question. That is not the question. Sometimes men, most times men are, all the time, men are kind of clueless to the things that go on with women and the things that they deal with from a woman's perspective. But just from a real honest standpoint, from a real honest perspective, a lot of women are the strong ones. They're the ones that so many people have to depend on, so many people have to count on. They're the ones that everybody calls on. They're the ones that fixes things. So what do you do? How do you handle it? Like when you're the one that everybody leans on, like what do you really feel in those moments?
Yes. Exhaustion is what I often feel. Like I said, I wear a lot of hats, and I do have to be the strong one all the time, or the default person often. And oftentimes I have to remind people, just because I carry it well does not mean that it's not heavy. It's often heavy, but because I'm rooted in my faith, I lean on that, of course. And then also the weight of example. My mother was a woman who she still is. She wears lots of hats, and I watched her growing up, the way she embodied that strength. She didn't have an option. She did everything. She was everything to everybody. And even though I'm sure she had moments where she would cry or she would feel down or have her emotions. I saw her press. I saw her carry on in spite of. And so as a woman and now a wife and a mother myself, that's the bar she set, and that is what I'm trying to do. Now I will tell you, I'm not always as successful as her. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So while I didn't hear her complain or see her cry, I'm doing that outwardly. But I am trying every day to put one step forward and to figure out how to carry that and sit in that while still being authentic to myself.
Brilliant. I'm emotionally holding it in right now because when I asked him how this is going to go today, she's like, don't worry, wear whatever you want. And I'm like, y'all can see my whole body. He did not tell me to get dressed for this, so I'm just stressing. I'm holding my emotions well right now instead of getting upset with y'all's pastor. So I completely agree with everything you said, especially with the aspect of our daughters. Like, I can truly tell you, I grew up with that exact same mindset, and I am instilling it in Penelope and Patrick as well. My true truth is waking up each day and starting my day with prayer. Walking my house and praying over my house, praying outside of my kids' rooms, praying for my heart to like be controlled by Him. Like when those things are coming up, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, because it's never a moment where I'm one person. It's on a swivel. We're doing 18 million things, getting 18 million things done, knowing I have 18 million things to do today. And I mean, I have multiple things to go home and do tonight. But it's just knowing like, God, I'm getting overwhelmed. Please be in control. Like, take over what's happening right now. So it's constant prayer. Like, constant trust in like, it's not me, it's you. I know you're going to get me through this. That's my level of how it's controlled.
I guess I'm a late bloomer. I'm the oldest up here, but I was raised to be a caretaker, and I didn't know it. I took care of everybody, and I thought that was just what I was supposed to do. And I took care of everybody, and I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And you know, you learn that you're doing it well, and so you think you keep it. But you get into where you got to learn. I mean, you start to learn that it's okay to take care of yourself as well as take care of somebody else. And so that's my family from, because I've always been in the role to have to take care of my sisters. And I'm the teacher of the family, so I have to make sure that they have their homework and all of that stuff. And you help my stepfather just trying to keep his job and keep it. But you know, that's just what I do. And so you find out differently simply because there's some things you start to want and need. And so mine is not good all the time anymore, right? You know, because you never learn. And I thank God for how I always have something in the face where you never pay something that you can learn. You never stop learning. So that's where I am. That's like I get so excited. Again. But that's where I learned things.
So you said something that that really caught my attention. So you said that you were a late bloomer, and then you talked about the value in caring for yourself. Do you, and this is for all three of you, do you care for yourself? What does that look like? And what would you say to somebody, to some lady, to some woman, to some young girl who feels guilty for prioritizing herself? And then how do you balance, you said a whole bunch. My mind is like, okay, so, and how do you balance taking care of myself without being selfish?
Because when you see people, because you know other folks, when you see them doing their thing and not even disoblivious to other things that they need to take care of, and you feel like, I got to do all this, so you know, it's angry, and that whatever that is on the inside, mine is starting to be so guess the reward is when you, oh, this is good. We did this and we did it, and we went on the program was good, or the house was good, or we were able to get something that we want, so you think that's, okay, that's your satisfaction.
But is it a real reward or is it like a placebo reward?
That's a person.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Because I feel like you're staring at me because you're trying to be rude.
no.
You cannot step on an empty plate, and I can't teach my kids that they are great and we put our best foot forward and we walk out of the house put together and we carry ourselves a certain way if I'm not doing it. So if I need to wake up an extra 30 minutes to make sure my makeup's done and my hair's, I'm waking up an extra 30 minutes. If I need to wake up an extra 30 minutes to make sure I did time, I'm waking up an extra 30 minutes to have that moment without my kids. My nails are not done right now. The second you said self-care, I'm like, oh my God, that's mine. Goodness, that's mine, but it didn't work out this week. And I'm okay with it. And when it does work out, my daughter's right there with me because that's that time we spend together and we go have the time. There's no guilt in it. It's guilt when you're not planning it appropriately. So to me, I have to plan. It's intentional. Each night when my kid, after we prayed and it's like my time, Chris knows, the kids know, I'm taking them over that. That's like my mental health time. Like it's self-care. It's important.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of pouring back into yourself. I will take a 45-minute bubble bath in a second. And even just like you said, getting your nails done, makeup, hair, like that's how I pour back into me. But it is hard, especially being that I have a 17-month-old. You know, sometimes I have to be strategic about how I pour back into me and how I have those little moments, because usually it's after the kids are asleep. Because my husband is busy. He also coaches football, so he's going all the time. He's preaching, he's here and there. So usually I'm the default parent at home. So sometimes I try to, you know, find little moments where I can sneak off and have some me time. I don't really feel guilty about it because I feel like you said, I need that and I can't pour into them if I can't pour into myself. But I think it is very easy to unintentionally lose yourself in a marriage and, you know, trying to navigate motherhood because we're doing so many things nonstop, day after day. And there did come a point when I had to stop and realize that I'm getting lost in the sauce.
Yes.
I have to go back to the basics because what I don't want to do is when the kids have been raised and they're grown and they're doing their thing, and I'm left with me, and I don't recognize me. I don't know me. Who am I outside of being his wife and their mother?
Right.
And so I'm in the process now of relearning me and falling back in love with me. So that way, when that time comes and I transition to a different stage of my life, my story doesn't end there.
And that's a very challenging thing to do. I can't speak to it from the perspective of a woman, but like on the other side of divorce, I found out that I did not know who I was. I didn't even remember the things that I liked. I found it very challenging to just be by myself without noise, be by myself without like feeling like I needed to do something, like outside of being somebody's husband, which I no longer was, and then like 5 kids daddy. Like I didn't know who Joe was anymore. It's like, well, I still like to, and it's still a struggle, but it is still very much a struggle. Just figuring out who you are. So with that being said, do you ever feel like nobody checks on you?
All the time.
Oh, really?
Yes, all the time.
Okay. So, y'all haven't got me yet, but I can talk to a hole in the ground.
Yes, you can.
So I'm a communicator. Like it's known in things that we do with our kids. We do day dates. So our teenager or Penelope, we flip flop and we take them to do things we like to do. So whenever I go out with Patrick, we're gonna go do something. Let me show you what I love to do, what I love doing now. Because exactly what you're saying, I want my kids to know me too, and not just as their mom. And I get to hang out with my teenagers and do things that I find enjoyable and have fun doing. It's me. It's me. So we get to do things together that are fun, we get to know each other, and so we get to have dialogue. I'm checking in on these, but our kids now checking on us. My 6-year-old look at me and say, "Mommy, how are you feeling?" because we're making it a point to talk about how we feel and dialogue, because just as important that I check in with you, you're also here to meet others around you as well, and it starts with your family, you know?
I said, that I felt like that because having like always being the strong one, I feel like people naturally assume, oh, she's got it.
Right.
It's fine. She can handle it. And I can. But it doesn't mean that it's not nice to be considered, right?
Weirdly.
That it, yeah, right. But that it's not nice to be,
What does that mean? You wear it well.
it means I disguise the heaviness. That I carry it and it's not noticed. It appears to others as though it's easy or that it's a breeze, even though it's not. But not for, like you said, lack of communication. I'm a very verbal person. Sometimes maybe a little too verbal. But I think people just naturally assume that she has to handle it. And I do because I do my job, right? But sometimes I would like to have somebody stop and say, how are you? I know you're doing all the things, but how are you feeling?
Can I ask you a question? And this is Dave, I want you to chime in. So feeling like, so you said you don't feel like anyone checks on you. You don't have that feeling where, like, I wish somebody would check on me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it comes from roles, like being
Okay.
our coach for prayer partners, which is odd because I'm younger and everybody, most prayer partners are seasoned members who have been doing this for a really long time. Care is a big piece of it as a coach, and I'm constantly asking like, well, how are you? Because sometimes there are heavy prayers.
Who's asking you that?
Literally, where you go. It's a created system where we're having these conversations and you're checking in on someone else. So it's very rare that I walk in a room and someone's not asking me. And it's genuine. My parents are very adamant about asking, how are you? Like, it's an expectation. I'm asking you and hope and they're feeding back.
Okay. So is there a certain group or a certain person that you want checking on you? Or is it just like, I just need to be asked in general how am I doing? Because I got some people that like, they ask me how I'm doing and they really got like ulterior motives or they being nosy. So like, I don't even want to tell you how I'm doing. I'm like, I'm blessed and highly favored.
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
get on top of
Church.
it. Yeah.
So I don't think my family, asks me how I'm doing. I talk to them about certain things, like they kind of know, but I don't think anybody ever stops to ask me without me sharing. And then I would say my husband too. Sometimes, y'all men, y'all not too good about,
Got you, man.
yeah, about, checking in. And like I said, I'm very verbal, so I'm always telling him, but he doesn't always ask. And so sometimes I want to not have to share, and I want someone to ask me.
And so and I know this is about the ladies, but since you said what you had said, when you were saying what you were saying about the men, we are taught from a very early age to compartmentalize things. Like, don't talk about it. Like, I had an uncle tell me one time, here's what you do with your emotions after you take them, you chew them, you put them in the pit of your stomach. When your stomach starts hurting, that's how you know you're dealing with it. And I think he was being silly, but as a man, that's what you learn to do. Pastor Rick, how many times on the job you walked up to your coworkers and said, "Man, how you feeling today?"
Talk to them. I always talk to them.
But I mean, we don't say, "Hey man, how you feeling? Tell me how you feeling," because we're just not always wired to look at the emotional things.
Or to see it.
Or to see
Yeah,
it.
Chris, my husband works for XR. So things that we do are strategically planned. My hair appointments, all the things are strategically planned because I know it needs to be, but you're right, like, we're hosting a soccer team on Wednesday. My son called me to change the menu today for Wednesday. And my husband's just like, no, but you got it. So it's things like that, it's like, I know that I can do it, but it doesn't mean I should be the one doing it. That makes sense. So I'm reading what you're saying. It would be great if it was before the disaster happened, you were stepping in to be like, I know this is a lot, how can I help?
Preferably after that.
Right.
That's usually what.
Right. Yeah, he's gonna run around Wednesday, the day of the event.
Well, the night is tomorrow, and I'm telling you, we're gonna get our lick back tomorrow.
Tell me what live you have heard in the church. Tell me where we are live.
Sister Betty,
Oh.
shit. No, but I think these are like real open, and honest, and candid things that have to be talked about, because, we're sitting up here and we're using our life as an example, but I hope that, you're sitting there being honest with yourself, saying, that sound like my house a little bit. That sound like me a little bit, because that's how you get better. I have another, question. I did so good, as far as you can probably. I wrote my questions down. There is that's not happy life.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever encountered this moment as all the roles that you wear, and all three of you, this is for all three of you. So I want you to go first. Have you ever encountered this feeling to where, like, I'm praying about it, but I'm still feeling it? Like I prayed about something and I gave it to God, and I know I gave it to God, but I still feel sad. I still feel frustrated. I still feel tired. I still feel worn out. Like, whatever the feel is, I still feel it. Like, what do you do when that feeling goes away? Because one of the things that we're teaching about here at the church, with our Win Within this month specifically, is discernment and not allowing our emotions to dictate to us what is really going on. And that's a hard thing to do, keep your emotions in check.
That's it, and it's hard, simply because if you, and I'll say this, and I know this is not what you all say, but I say, fake it until you make it. And I know that's not, this is fake until you make it, but I say fake it, because a lot of times I have people here mask to get into a situation. And, but I got serious about playing my faith. We need to know that God knows about this. We can give you some things to really hold on to, which is God, which is a word. Sometimes it's just a word or it's a song. That, and he will bring that to you in real soon. You remember that if you just kind of like, but there's been several things that I fake it until I make it with the intent. The intent is that I want to not do that. I don't want to not hurt. I want to not stay mad. I want it to be where I'm not completed. And so I go through that, and it happens. It happens. And you know, it comes back to memory. You remember, it's not that you lose sight of, remember what happened. You remember, but it's not devastating like it was.
So how do you feel bad that it doesn't go away when you try to fake it until you make it, or fake it until you make it?
Stay out of that way.
You're a person.
Well, something that it's a, and you know that, hey, this is, I'm not, with this, and it's going to be something bad. Because I've had situations where I went there to control myself, and it was hard. It was so hard. You can't do that. Well, I mean, that's what happens. Yeah, and so you're going, I'm not saying that's how I'm got into the situation, and just being able to honestly go for God. And I learned how to do that with, give that, I wanted to be an intercessor. I wanted to be pure, I wanted God to answer my prayers. I learned how to do that, only because I knew I had to be true to my feelings and what I was. And when I knew God was right there, and I knew that I was him. God, I need you to help me with this, you know, and some of the things that we were encountering in prayer. And so, praise him, and to praise him. He taught me that. He taught me that. He made me know he did what I was in my heart. It's the intent of the Lord. You know in life, where you are, if you're honest, you know it, that's where you want something different. And I hear you say it all the time, intent and impact. Intent and impact. God looks at the intent of the heart and you will know.
She said it beautifully, right? It's giving it to God. Like, I know front loading with those moments that I know are heavy for me. We're educators, like front loading. I know what I'm walking into. I know that I want to feel a child as much as I would like for my life to be filled and people I work with. So just situations that I know are typed for me. I'm really praying about that. God, help me to have eyes that see them the way you see them. Help me to love like you. Help me to serve like you. That was being intentional, like really talking to God, not coming with a beautiful package and saying things that I think He wants me to say, and memorizing a prayer. It's truly going into it and having that authentic time with Him, like laying it at His feet. Like today with my dad, I tried God. I did not succeed. Please help me choose better. You know, help me grow in a different way. Help me see them in a different light. Help me be a different light when I'm near them. All those things.
And I think when you're honest, right, but when you're not being honest, right,
So you just mean fake it when you're around them, and then you get to God, what you really do.
well, and I know that's it's hard, but when I come through that door, I don't want people to see nothing but you. Right? I mean, I don't want them to be able to do something today.
Right.
So, I mean, but and I know I'm in service and I want to be able to be looked at as a child of God.
Let us like shout it. You're like, that's the right thing. You're not supposed to show up ready for that.
He knows about what I call him. He doesn't.
You're supposed to, not bottling it up until your stomach hurts. And I hope this also will hear this. Oh my gosh.
Listen, that advice got me through 1999 when cash money took over. So in that same vein, right, where you're dealing with this, you're processing this, you're trying to take it to God, but what do you do when like this quiet, like resentment starts to say, that's my family, that's my spouse, that's my children, like I love them, but they just won't stop talking, like, just all of the things, and
I'm sure they never prayed that about you. I'm sure they never looked at you and think the same thing.
Well, what do you do with that quiet resentment? Like you love your life, but you still feel like I'm tired, Karen.
I have to, again, pray, give it to God, pray heavy, because that resentment will sneak up on you. And if you're not careful, you'll be in a very dark space. And if you stay there too long, sometimes you can't bounce back from that place. So I have to, worship, give it to God, stay in His presence. And what I found is, I was talking to God one day, and I was complaining about some things, and I was telling him how I felt about some things, and he was kind of stepping on my toes a little bit, like a parent would or like a principal. And I was just like, God, but they did this and they said this, and he said, I understand all that. He said, but it's how you respond. that I have a problem with. He said, I understand what they did and what they said, and you're justified in your feelings, but how you are responding is keeping you from intimacy with me. And I didn't like that. Then I was like, ow, that hurt. Because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just reacting, right? But he was like, you know, you have to be set apart. You have to watch how you respond to certain things in spite of what is said and what is done. Because it's affecting your relationship with me. And so then now I have to go back and figure out, okay, I have these feelings and I'm valid in my feelings, but what am I gonna do with them? How am I gonna feel all of those feelings, but not respond in a way that doesn't show that I have evidence of the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
You know, because if mom and daddy disappointed, that's one thing, right? If my husband disappointed, that's one thing. But for God to sort of like check me on that, I didn't like that. But he loves me in spite of, right? That he cares enough to check me so that he and I can stay in good standings.
And I like, I like what you said. I think that was very powerful, because I think, like, no matter where you're sitting, no matter what you feel, no matter what or who you are, like she said, you're justified feeling how you feel, but what you do with it, how you handle it, how you respond. Like, and I immediately thought about Moses in the wilderness with the children of Israel. Like, they was getting on Moses' last nerve. And God was like, you justify how you feel, but every time he responded adversely, God was like, why are you doing my people like that, Moses? He was like, wait a minute, you was just like, so how do you, like, where is, because that's a hard place to find a good balance in my humanity. Like, I know, like, my spirituality and what I'm supposed to do there, but how do I cause, or what do I do to cause my humanity or my flesh to submit to that spirit side that says you can feel how you feel, but you still gotta love me, you still gotta care for me, you still gotta be who God called you to be.
Understand that sacred sons of God carry the sacred law a long time. You know, and it just opened my eyes to how much how patient God is. Right. That he has not, he's allowed me to keep going and do some things, and a little more here and whatever, but yet it's still, he didn't totally cut me off. That's why I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Didn't totally cut me out, but he brought me into, I guess it was just 2 years ago, I was able to lay that resentment down, but just for my stepfather, because I was mad with him.
Yeah.
And he's been dead for 10 years. So what?
Yes, I mean, that's how real it can get.
Because of some things that he had just, and I felt justified. And I would talk about it back. And that was not what God wanted to do. I mean, I'm talking about one of God's beloved children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I learned that because he didn't cut me off and keep me bad. And maybe some of the blessings that I cut off myself, I didn't realize because of my resentment. Yeah.
I try to keep that thought at the front of my mind when I'm like, love like Jesus, like having a spouse, sweet goodness.
Yeah.
So thankful. I love it. But you know, you expect things that you think they should just know. And they don't. And it blows your mind. But then I'm like, the same way I'm forgiven, if I'm walking around upset and angry, what are we gonna do? And what am I modeling for my kids? And so that's always my step back, like, love like Jesus said, does not mean accepting like abuse or hurt or negative things, but it's having those conversations and explaining how I feel and how to work through it. People that I have a tough relationship with, like, God help me with the situation I'm getting ready to walk into. Please help me to let your light shine. They love like you. That does not mean they need to be in my space, that I'm hugging those people and having those conversations. But I'm going to treat them with respect. If you're near me, I'm respectful, we move on. But it's truly that, exactly what you're saying. He's helping you home in heaven and you're down here upset about something that you can't change for him, you know? Like, it's that, who are you hurting with that? I'm swallowing poison every day, holding on to something I can lay at your feet and move forward and be better about, you know? So it's just constantly, like you said, having those conversations, going to God, letting him like, my ears are open, please help me hear. My eyes are open, please help me to see what I need to see. And it has never failed. Praying those prayers, it always happens. Always happens.
Yeah, but just when you think you don't have the capacity
Right.
anymore,
It, right. Right. It totally becomes a testimony. It always becomes a testimony. When I'm laying at your feet and I'm truly giving my feelings and where I am, it always becomes something where he rebukes me and helps me to see what the bigger picture is. And 9 out of 10, it's never about you. It's about something bigger than you.
And because we have people who were here at 6:30, because Pastor Joe said 7, I got here at 7. But, for those of you who were here at 6:30, it's been an hour for you. But I also think that's a great place to stop. I think that's a great ending point because of every emotion that they shared and they talked about and they covered, it came full circle. It started with let me be more like God, and then it came full circle into lay all this stuff in his feet. You can't understand it, you can't handle it, and the more you try to carry it, the more you try to understand it, the deeper you're gonna sink it. But the moment you lay it at his feet, like that doesn't mean the situation is gonna change. That doesn't mean your circumstances are gonna go away, but I don't have to carry these things. I can say, God, I've left this with you, I've left this at your feet. So I'm gonna ask all of you, like, they'll give us, just a final thought, just something to share, and then, one of them will pray, and then we'll be on our way.
So lovely.
Amen.
I love that y'all are doing this. I'm kind of jealous. I might be mentioning it at our church. Because we have small groups, we have ways of meeting, we have these conversations. But I think it is always so good when you have dialogue, especially with people you don't absolutely look like and you're not the same walk of life, but you hear these things and you're like, we are all so similar. And we're all carrying these things. But my best thing to go all the way back to is laying it at his feet and keep laying it at his feet. Like every single time, like that's my prayer, God, I know I'm gonna pick this up tomorrow. Please nudge me and help me lay it at your feet. Like just keeping him first and in control, not for perfection, but for him to lead. Like just keep laying it at his feet, no matter what is going on, no matter the trouble, no matter the stress, like just keep laying it at his feet. He's not expecting perfection. He's looking for that love and for him to be in control. He's our Father. Like he wants to, he has plans for us. He created them long ago. He is in control.
Since you mentioned perfection, a lot of times I ask him, help me to see me. Because sometimes we're so good at performing, and we lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that, there's no room for improvement, but that's not true. Everybody can improve, everybody can evolve. And truth be told, some of us, need to do an inner audit every now and again. Because there's some things that are tucked away in some crevices that we forgot about, or we think, nobody sees this, or we think, I've mastered this, and God is like, not so. And so in every friendship, relationship situation, God help me to see me. Because surely there's some things that need some fine tuning.
Right.
One of the things that, you have to say, don't get weary in well doing. What is well doing? And especially when I'm going through something and it seems that it's devastating or it's not enough or whatever. And I've learned if there is a word, God has a word for every situation that I would encounter. I learned that. And I think it's just because, I'm old enough to learn that, but I cannot do it and without that word. because to me that is all saying. So I'm getting weary in well doing. Do not get weary in well doing. And in due time, you're gonna reap in due time. This too is gonna pass. And that's what has gotten me through a lot of situations. Didn't realize that in that capital right there. But it was not- get the strength from God's word and just being around like-minded people, spiritual-minded people. Sometimes just, even just act silly for the people or, I mean, you just have to get stay in a place where you're mindful of where you are and you can help. And, that's what it's.
Instead, you're always at the church. We're you're at the church, yes, I'm where I need to be.
And when I tell my friends, some days it's just go back, just get to that.
Right. No, that's,
Yeah.
So I thank you all. I'm gonna say my little final spiel, and whichever one of them focuses on their heart, close out prayer. They were talking about anything like this, bringing everything and waiting and leaving it there. God will never get tired of dealing with our things. Like, you can never say, oh, here I come. No, like, God, I'm coming again. I'm bringing this to you again. Here's something that I tell my kids, and when they do it, it keeps them out of trouble. I tell them, hey, when y'all have things that are going on, instead of y'all fussing and fighting and arguing, because I don't want to hear that, like, bring it to me. I'll deal with it, and then when I get through dealing with it, like, it's done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to worry about what your brother did, or what your sisters are doing, or what they're not doing. Like, when you bring it to me, because I'm your father, like, I'm going to put an end to all of the stuff. You may still walk away feeling like, oh, I don't like what happened to me, and that's okay. But you left it with the father, and you can respond differently because my daddy kind of. Thank y'all for coming. I'm going to close out with prayer, and then we're going to take my sister.
okay. Y'all stand up, y'all stand.
Yeah, we'll stay there.
Yes. Okay, you ready? God, we thank you so much for this time. I thank you so much for this space that you opened up. I thank you so much for the hearts that you touched tonight. I thank you for each woman who sat up here and just shared their feelings with you. Share their feelings with their new friends, God. I just ask you to have your way. Have your way in our lives. We have these moments where we're trying to pick things up. God, you have to remind us it's not our job, it's yours. When we are going through the motion, when we are not allowing you to be in control, God, please just remind us that you are there. I pray that when we walk away from here, we travel to our homes and you guide us. I pray to guide our hearts. I pray that we are forever changed, not just because of the word we shared tonight, but because we are trusting in you. I thank you for this church, God. I ask you to just have your way here. I thank you for the service. I thank you for the pastor. I thank you for this group, the family, God. Have your way. I thank you for each church member, God. Have your way. I pray that so much change happens here that when people drive by, they can't help but stop and go into that church because they know you were there. I pray that you overwhelm them with so much love and so much growth. Plans to have this men's panel coming up. I pray that you touch their hearts. I pray that you place the words that they need to be able to share with the group. I pray that they grow tomorrow and have an even bigger crowd. God, have your way with the families. Have your way with the friendships. Pray for our political climate. God, have your way. I pray that the change that we see and we hear is your name being spoken. God, have your way. Please continue reminding us not only are you in control, but we are safe and we are loved because we are your children. You have a plan for us and your plan is good. God, have your way. We are so thankful. We love you so dearly, God. I thank you for each person in this room, God. Have your way. You're so incredible. Thank you. We love you so dearly. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Tomorrow night, then Wednesday night, singles, Thursday night, our married couple, and Friday night, we'll be back with our young adults. See y'all for the rest of the week. Y'all have a good night. Say something nice, y'all. Say something nice to somebody before you leave.
All right.